Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul. In this video we're breaking down Reacher. Season 2 has just dropped its finale and episode 8 has a lot to unpack from it. Throughout this video we're going to be going through what happens and also talking about where things could be heading for Season 3. That's currently in production and Reacher's been a big show for Amazon. Therefore there's a lot of things to go over and in this video we're going to be breaking down it all. Firstly though, just a quick word from our sponsors and then we'll dive into the season. This video is sponsored by ZBiotics. Now whenever I do a brand deal or a sponsorship ad like this, what'll happen is that the company will send me out the product, I'll get to try it and make sure that I truly believe in it. I did my first advert for ZBiotics last year, I went through all the stuff, used it myself, saw how much of a difference it made and was more than happy to advertise it. Now after that, we didn't agree on doing another advert or anything, but I was so blown away by how good this was, I actually went out and bought myself a mega packet of it out of my own money. Now I'm not as young as I used to be and the choice is either to have that great night out or that great next day. That was until I found ZBiotics, which is a complete game changer. ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to help you feel better the morning after drinking. Now here's how it works. When you drink alcohol, it gets converted into a toxic byproduct right in your gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's responsible for you feeling rough the very next day. What ZBiotics does is that it produces an enzyme that helps break this byproduct down. Just remember to make ZBiotics your first drink of the night, drink responsibly, and the next day you'll feel great. You can see I've already been using these, and every time I drink one, I'm completely amazed by how I feel the next day. Just feel normal, whereas normally I'd feel sick, and yeah, I can't imagine going on a night out now without drinking one of these first. Go to zbiotics.com/heavyspoilers or scan the QR code on screen right now to get 15% off your very first order. You can also sign up to their subscription service using my code, so it means you're prepared no matter what's going to happen. ZBiotics has also got a 100% money back guarantee, so if for any reason you feel unsatisfied, they'll give you your money back, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/heavyspoilers and use the code HEAVYSPOILERS at checkout for 15% off your first order. Thank you again to ZBiotics for changing my life, not even being hyperbolic there, really made a difference, and yeah, definitely go check them out at the link below. Thanks. Okay, so Season 1 was primarily about family, with Reacher setting out to avenge his brother Joe. Season 2 switches the focus to his team, with the stakes changing to those in his unit. Still though, that theme of family comes across with Reacher finding one in the team that love him.
You refer to these special investigators as your team, but you know we're more than that, right?
Where things are going to go, we'll discuss in just a bit, but firstly I want to talk about the main things in Season 2. Opening up, we see one of his unit being dropped out of Chopper, which comes full circle in that finale. After learning that they're being picked off, Reacher puts the band back together, and throughout the season he tries to get to the bottom of it. This season being joined once more by Neagley and also David O'Donnell. Lastly is his long-lost love caller Ritchson, who Reacher used to want to give a Reacher round 2. Throughout we learn as they try and find out who is behind the deaths, but also learn a bigger conspiracies afoot. This is headed up by Robert Patrick Langstrom and an international arms broker simply known as AM. Patrick is a great little addition, and they even do a cheeky Terminator Easter egg during episode 1.
The ID Neely is checking in under the name Sarah Connor and
However, where I draw the line, it's having one of the bad guys as a British comic book collector.
And it became personal with me.
0 out of 10, no stars on TripAdvisor, Rotten Tomatoes, do not recommend. Now, but this takes things to a higher place in Season 1, with it jumping up to a larger conspiracy. Now, the season itself's based on bad luck and trouble, with a story explaining in a bit more detail about what's going on. We learn the company UH have managed to build missiles that are incapable of missing their targets. Pretending to get rid of them, they've secretly been planning to broker a deal with terrorists through using AM. AM will then give these terrorists the technology, and they'll be able to carry out their own attacks. Aided by police, we also meet Detective Russo, who's played by Dominic Lombardozzi. When he's not getting smashed like the like button by his son Kingpin, he's being a hero cop who gets killed in the line of duty. It's moments like this that really elevate the series, as well as the distrust Reacher feels that one of his own has betrayed him. Episode 7 ends with us seeing Reacher go to Langstrom, and that takes us into the finale. Now we begin with Reacher tied up to a chair being interrogated by Langston in order to find Neagley's location. Being Langston's last loose end means he has to find her, but she's a lot closer than he thinks. Operating as a sniper, she slowly takes down the guards and infiltrates the compound along with the Senator's assassins. Meanwhile, inside, Langston reveals why Swan's been framed and fingered throughout the whole season. Not a pun, I swear, and all Langston's wanted to do is get Ritchson, and I don't mean the actor that plays Reacher, which is a pun.
Fuck off.
Now, Langston apparently offered to cut Swan in on the deal, but after he refused, they used him in other ways. Placing his eyes and fingers in a jar, this has given them access to everything inside. Realizing that Reacher won't talk, he decides to go and pick up Neely's father, who in the end gets a visit from someone else. Escaping using one of those safety pin things, you know the one. You used to stick them in your shoe at school as well, and Reacher's done that too, and we see as he uses it to pick the handcuffs free. While this is going on, number one Grandpa Neely and the Senator's assassins storm the base, which leads to Reacher getting to the chopper. Just like the buck, we see as Reacher ends up pushing Langston out the back to kill him, the same way that he killed his company.
In an investigation, assumptions kill.
Hey, cause he kept saying that. And we then have a moment with Langston on the ground where we zoom in on his face, which brings things full circle from the opening of episode 1. He somewhat redeems the team's death by also saving Carla after her bed dangles outside the chopper. And where things differ from the book is that when Reacher landed, he ended up asking the pilot if he flew during the times his teammates got murdered. Revealing that he did, he then shot him in the cockpit, whereas here, they played things a bit more theatrical. He lets him think that he's escaped and then shoots down the chopper using a little wing rocket. On board was also a weapon engineer that was the only one capable of showing the terrorists how to use the chips. This is a big change up from the book, as in that they ended up letting him live. They found out that his daughter was being held hostage, and he was pretty much being forced to teach the terrorists. I think the whole daughter thing though, that's been done twice already in the show, so they just kept things simple and had him go down in flames. Speaking of going down in flames, Ames also killed and the Senator's arrested along with his guns for hire. Now in the book, Reacher then used the money to set up trust funds for the unit's family and also gave a donation to Peter in the name of Swan's dog. That then had him getting a deposit in his bank, which was used as the code to say mission accomplished. I was surprised they didn't do this, as that deposit tipped him off in episode 1, and they also skip over another deposit as well. In the book, there was a separate amount dropped in of $10,012, which turned out to be Dixon's zip code. Reacher in the book contemplated whether he should go, but in the end, he decided to go against it. The book ended much like the show, with Reacher heading out on a bus without any plans, like you on a Saturday night. Hey, you loser, you fucking loser. Now in the show, we watch Reacher put on Beat the Machine by Quaker City Nighthawks. This song is well about beating the machine, and it carries a lot of meaning for these final few scenes. Throughout the season, there's been a constant back and forth over song choice, with that signalling how the group felt. Talking Heads Road to Nowhere was called Defeatist, with her song Psycho Killer being brought up as well. Last week was The Man Go Through, and this one had Neely playing Jefferson Airplane's White Rabbit. White Rabbit was created because the band thought it was funny that the stories parents used to read their kids eventually led to them being visions that they saw on psychedelic drug trips. Whether that's why Neely picked it for the kids, I don't know, but either way, those were the main ones that had other meanings. Beat the Machine sees the families getting money, along with the detective's brother getting a lump sum for the kids. Instead of Peter getting it in the book, we see a local animal shelter in Macy's name, and Neely's father getting a round-the-clock medical team to help with his illness. This is him covered for the rest of his life, and we see as the group share a final drink around the campfire. Reacher reveals he's given some to Neely, and though he hasn't given it all to David, he's deposited some into his kids' accounts. He's also started an LLC for Carla, so she can finally work for herself. Taking a picture, this builds off the back of the one from earlier in the season, in which the group all posed around the campfire and took one as well. Though their numbers have dwindled, the team's still strong, and Reacher and Carla have some special time together. He was going to use his money to buy a toothbrush, but Carla's got him one now so he can use it for something else. Sure as shit won't be for an engagement ring though, and though it's clear Carla wants to be with him, he heads out on the road. Fittingly, we hear the song Simple Man by Lynyrd Skynyrd and see as he heads out after doing what he's considered visiting family. Where he's going to go, we don't know, but he's probably going to go to his American Idol audition.
You are the sunshine of my life. That's why I always stay around. You are the apple of my eye.
Oh.
Forever you'll stay in this heart.
As for where things can go in the future, there are a couple of bits of info that we already know. The first season was based off the first book, but season 2 took a slight unexpected turn with Bad Luck and Trouble. That's the 11th entry in the Jack Reacher canon, so I wasn't thinking we could just go up through releases. To make things even more difficult, Ritchson's remained tight-lipped and has said he won't say what it's going to be. However, he has stated it's his favourite Reacher book, and thus we can look at the most popular entries. The one that normally tends to hit the top spot is One Shot, which made Collider's #1. However, that was already adapted into the Tom Cruise film, and thus I don't think that they're going to head that route. There's also that follow-up Never Go Back, which is another that I think they're probably going to skip. Doing my research, diving deep into all the interviews that the actors had, I actually managed to track down what he said's his favourite book. In an interview with Slash Film, Ritchson said he loved Die Trying, and that Reacher book was the one he wanted to do the most. That was also the second to release, so doing that for Season 3 makes a bit of sense. Initially set in Chicago, it has Reacher going cross-country to track down an FBI agent who was abducted at gunpoint. I don't want to spoil what the twists in the story are, but I think it would be a good plot for the show. The agent's called Holly and her co-workers join in the search, which could add to the ensemble aesthetic that the show always carries. It also features a group of army radicals that we learn have moved to the mountains and made a community. They want to distance themselves from the US, and it adds an interesting angle they could add into the show. Reacher, of course, leads his own unit, and these guys could act as a dark mirror to show what he could become. On one side you've got the FBI, and on the other this military group. Reacher is going to kind of work down the middle and go his own route in order to get justice. Such a cool way I think they could go, and yeah, that might be something that they end up doing next time. And bear in mind, we got early access to these episodes, so if the finale's dropped and they've come out and said that it's all wrong, then drop it in the comments and call me an idiot. I'd appreciate that. I'd appreciate you called me that. And as for my thoughts on the season, I'm happy to say that I enjoyed the show and I felt it delivered on what I was expecting. As with the first entry, the plot's pretty basic, but it's something that comes in and gets the job done. They do a good job of keeping the twists coming from time to time, and pacing-wise, they're pretty much nailing it. You jump between action and drama moments perfectly, with each episode managing to balance both. I feel like Amazon have really crafted a hit here that's going to become The Boys but for dads. Adapting Boys is for dads, but you know what I mean. Adapting Reacher into a show, it seems like a no-brainer now, but yeah, it works with what it sets out to do. I have to admit, I was a bit of a latecomer and only started the season back in November. Still though, I've enjoyed the ride and love the sort of self-contained nature that each season has. If I had to compare it to another show, I'd probably say The Incredible Hulk, and not because Ritchson's built like Lou Ferrigno. That had him kind of rolling into town, sorting problems out and being on his way. Reacher's a drifter who helps where he can, but you know that he's not someone who's gonna stick around. Each season's kind of like an Incredible Hulk episode, stretched out like those jeans over a whole season. Butchering this metaphor, but I love the simplicity and almost nostalgic feeling I have watching the show. It feels like a throwback to a classic procedural that works as a guilty pleasure, but also as something that you can just sit back and enjoy. Also, I love how everyone calls Reacher Reacher, and even his family who have the surname Reacher, they still call him Reacher. That's how you know he's Reacher #1, and at the core of it, you're kinda hoping that he gets to find a home, but know that this man's life is meant for the road. It's got action, comedy, drama, and also a slight sadness to it that makes it all round a really strong watch. I know Forbes said that it felt like season 1 dumbed down, but meh, to me, it's the same sort of show. I can get the criticism though, and it probably doesn't do enough on top of what it did to really feel like a step up, but hey, I feel like I'd be nitpicking saying that because they definitely delivered on what my expectations were. So yeah, I recommend Reacher if for whatever reason you're watching this without seeing it. Bit weird of you, mate. But I'm kind of annoyed at myself for missing the boat on weekly breakdowns, but hopefully for season 3 we can try and work something out. Please drop a like on the video if you want to see those, and if you want to support the channel as a member of the Spoiler Society, then please click the join button. You'll get early access to videos every week, and it goes such a long way to helping us out. If you want to get some heavy spoilers merch, we've also got a t-shirt line located below the video that will let you pick up all kinds of tops like our Theory Time on, House of Dragon stuff, Marvel tees and more. We drop new designs on there all the time too, so definitely keep an eye out, and huge thank you for all your support. Now if you want something else to watch, we've got a breakdown on screen right now, and hopefully I'll see you over there right after this. By the way, huge thank you for sticking through this. I've been Paul, I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.